Hey, I'm down here at Market Park. So tomorrow, the West Druid Order will be holding a ritual down here. And I've been pretty vocal about some of my thoughts on it. And there's some things I want to share with you. You see right over here? See this concrete barrier? See this fence? You know why that was put up? It was put up because of fear. Fear because people who, in the name of their faith, in the name of the Christian God, in the name of the God that I worship, in the name of the scriptures that I hold dear, have caused it. It's ironic, isn't it? That the God who created a group of people to draw all men unto Him, to be a light into the world, through their actions, have caused concrete barriers and fences to be put up. It's ironic, isn't it, that the God of peace has done this. Not the God, the people who worship Him. It's ironic, isn't it, that the very Jesus in which you claim to be supporting, you claim to be standing up for His name, actually said, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Now, every month, maybe every week, I don't know, but I know very often our public spaces here in Athens are used by various churches. How would you feel if someone showed up and prayed at your event? How would you feel if someone showed up and protested your event? How would you feel if you were down here with your church and the city, because of fear in the community, had to put up fences to separate you? Fences, boundaries, borders. The very God that calls us to tear those down, the very God that calls us to be within our community and be a light into the world and to draw all men unto Him, the very Christians who have sworn and have pledged their faith in this God are the ones that are causing us to put up fences, causing us to put up barriers. Now you'll say, well, we're just coming down here to pray. But in the very next sentence, or maybe in that same sentence after the comma, it'll say, well, we're doing this in response to this event. Call it what you want. You're sowing discord. Call it what you want. It's a protest. Call it what you want. You're driving a wedge in the community and a separation from the very people that God has called us to be a light into the world, that God has called us to love. You get on social media, you call them names, demons, witches. You post scriptures, and there's a lot of scriptures out there, and let me get to that. There's a lot of scriptures that say a lot of things, and I could pull up all kinds of them, but let me point something out to you about how scripture should be read. Scripture is not to be read as a magnifying glass pointing out the sins of others. Scripture is to be read as a mirror looking into our soul, drawing us closer to what the divine has called us to be so that we can be that light that draws people to Him. Scripture is so that we can take the plank out of our own eye before we even worry about the speck into someone else's. I know there's a lot of emotions around this, but I wished that the people who claim to love the God that I love, I wish that the people who worshiped the God that I worship, I wish the people who hold dear the scriptures that I hold dear would use that and look into their own soul. Why am I doing this? Am I doing it because I truly believe these scriptures? Well, if you did, you wouldn't be doing this. If you did, you would be down here, if anything, to support this group. Well, how can I support them? Well, it's simple. In Scripture, we're called to support the oppressed, to stand up for the disenfranchised. They're being oppressed by you. They're being disenfranchised by you. Stop. Stop it. You've done enough damage to the name of Christ. You've done enough damage to the scriptures. You've done enough damage to this community. It's time you stop. This isn't who we are. This isn't the God of love. This isn't the God of peace. This isn't the God who has called us to be a light into the world. This is sin that we are committing. And I'm going to include me in this because I identify as a Christian. And you're blaspheming that name. You're bringing disrepute to the very God who come to draw men together. And it's shameful that you're doing that to me and to those of us here who hold the scriptures to be true. It's shameful. Stop.